Hi, today is the 30th of August 2021, and I'm listening to 94.5 WPTI, the Jesse Jones show, I think it is. Anyway, it's 11:43, or it's also 20:40 for military standard time. And I'm listening to the male speak with the female on the show about the current president, 46, in reference to the Afghanistan pullout. And one thing that is known is I very much voted for 45. I did go to different rallies for 45. I do tend to look at more than one side of the equation, though. I haven't hidden that. And while I admit I did not see what was discussed, or is still technically being discussed, one of the things that I don't know if anybody has paid attention to in regards of the possibility of it obviously being far more than just the Jesse Kelly show. I apologize, it's the Jesse Kelly show. Is that 46, one of his sons died during the Iraq-Afghanistan war. And so while I'm fairly certain there's probably other people who are upset about that possibility, I didn't see the video footage, but to take into consideration that it probably was not the easiest thing to have to sit there and watch the caskets be brought off of the plane, knowing that he had already buried one of his sons. And it's not to be cruel when saying that, it is a fact though. And so while some people might speculate that they disagree with his choice to take a moment to see the time, but what was his thoughts when he was looking at the time? Was he even looking at the time? Was he moving his watch around? I don't know. Again, I didn't see the video. I was doing other stuff. However, I will point out that fact, and again, I did vote for 45. I don't deny that. I haven't hidden that. However, there is that respect that he's there as the plane being described has been flown in, and yet at the same time, it wasn't necessarily during active duty or activated reserve, but his son, I don't know the specific details of it, to be honest, but I know that one of his sons did serve in, I think it's the Army branch, and with certain jobs and employments and deployments, depends on what you're going to be around. And so going into scuba diving in a different aspect, in reference to the state of Texas, and going scuba diving in underground water-filled missile silos, which I have highly been against for years, for many reasons. Those particular health situations that can occur because of what certain situations of being around, you can look at certain aspects such as mesothelioma. That mesothelioma, if I'm not mistaken, is one thing from naval ships. Then there's the, what is the other one? I know there's mesothelioma, and that comes from asbestos, among a few other things, and that was heavily found in Navy ships. Then there's, after the Iraq War, wasn't it something about the earplugs, if I'm not mistaken, and then some other sound impacts. So while I haven't denied who I have voted for or my political party in that reference, though also not denying I have voted for Democrats and independents before, depending on the particular election, the fact of the matter is that does need to be brought up in fairness, because he, 46, and his wife, the First Lady of the United States of America, they did, if I'm accurate, they did have to, with one of their own, and not just one of their own in reference to countrymen or countrywomen, or female male, or male female to be accurate in order, but having to bury your child, it is not something that is considered as easy, and it's not something that is considered as much as some might take into consideration at times, especially as time goes on and the political spectrum. Now, I don't know personally, because I haven't personally been all what have you on that. I did what I could to ironically not be involved with that. Nonetheless, if I'm not mistaken, 46 and the First Lady of the United States, Ms. Jill Biden, they did have to put one of their children into a cemetery. And so while it may optically not look pretty for a split second in time, and literally a split second in time when you take into consideration camera footage and the ability to pause a video at whatever split second, the reality of. And so just going to throw that out there. That's my personal little sprinkle of fairy glitter or whatever. And nonetheless, it is the reality, and that is something that, in my opinion, in disagreement with what I was listening to, I, again, have not seen the video, have not gone and looked it up. I'm obviously in my car. Nonetheless, that's something to, in my opinion, take into consideration, because that cannot be difficult to figure out for certain other individuals when taking that into consideration, that's not necessarily the easiest thing to have to be around in a continuous situation of having to make that type of a arrangement in the overall sort of aspects. And so just something to take into consideration. You guys have a good one. Bye.